I'd like to try a very, very simple experiment here. Last week, we discovered, and you in particular discovered, the power of the higher self when it resisted someone trying to approach a person where we didn't ask for permission. You felt a physical sensation of being pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask, if I may, permission from the same person's higher self that we dealt with on that occasion, and we've also worked with her today for the benefit of the well-being of that person. And I'd like to ask permission if we can work with that higher self again, just to demonstrate something. Would that be possible?
Yeah, so that higher self is presented itself as very receptive.
Okay, good. Now, some practitioners who recognise the authority of the higher self and have written about it, and they teach these principles. They teach that you can communicate with the higher self through finger signals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And the way that works is that the physical person sitting here in front of me can answer with, in answer to yes/no questions using fingers. For example, the forefinger on the right hand would be a yes finger, and if the question is no, then the forefinger on the left hand could be used to signal no.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, when sitting in front of the person that we are trying to help, and we're trying to establish communication with the higher self, because that person themselves is not familiar with their own higher self, or is new to them, and they wouldn't know the answer to that question. So what we do is ask the higher self to give an indication through finger signals.
Okay.
Now, we could argue that the person whose finger moves, it's an automatic reaction from a part of the subconscious. How can we tell that this is actually initiated by the higher self? How can we tell that it's not being initiated by a subpersonality unless asked? And how do we know that it's not being initiated by some other external entity? So we need to be able to distinguish the difference between these different entities, don't we?
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
So you're asking me for the answer?
No, so I'm just outlining the problem.
Right, okay.
All right. So now I'm going to ask the higher self that's agreed to help us with this experiment if it can indicate using the right forefinger.
So it's saying yes?
Okay, and I would like you to manipulate that forefinger and show me a yes signal
On my hands?
on Andrew's hand. Right, I've got a middle finger there.
Yeah, that's the finger. That's...
Can you hold your hands flat on your lap so we can see them? Right. Let me ask again, can the higher self indicate a yes signal to me using Andrew's hand? Perhaps if you relax your fingers a bit.
Okay, this is too
Sitting on there. Because what I'd like to see is a definite movement. And I'd like to ask the higher self to move the forefinger, the index finger. No, that's the middle finger.
Okay, just going up on its own.
It went up on its
Because
own.
I'm not actually doing that.
You're not doing that. Okay.
Because I'm hearing what you're saying, I'm
Okay.
thinking I would be moving my other finger.
Now, this is what makes this experiment interesting, and I think the higher self is enjoying this because I'm asking for the index finger to be lifted,
Right,
and it's lifting the middle finger.
yeah.
Right.
Because I'm obviously semi in control of my fingers, so that I would be lifting the right one for you.
Okay. So is the higher self that we're working with in tune with the nature of the experiment and helping me to demonstrate who has control of the finger? Is it the higher self or is it Andrew who's sitting
So the higher self saying that is the demonstration, is that, so it's saying me, as in Andrew, would consciously move the correct finger,
Right.
but the higher self is choosing
To use the
to use the wrong finger purposely to demonstrate to you that it does have a level of control,
Okay.
which is interesting.
Isn't it?
Because I'm sitting there thinking, why is that happening? Because
Yeah.
my conscious mind is obviously thinking I would be moving the right finger, but the other one's popping up on its own,
Excellent.
which is, yeah.
Now, for a person who is resistant to these ideas and is sitting there thinking, nothing's going to move, right? Can we ask now the higher self to overcome that conscious resistance? So you, Andy, I want you to sit there and hold your fingers still. And let's ask the higher self to
Okay.
move a finger.
Okay, so I'm actually fighting now with that
Yeah.
finger.
Okay, which finger?
So it's the same middle finger that it's trying to lift. So it's moving, but I'm
Right,
holding it down.
okay.
So if I stop, it does that. So it's, so I can tell that it's trying to go up, but I can obviously, through willpower and I guess physicality, I can actually stop it.
Okay,
moving,
so
but it's
when
still
we're
shaking.
working with a person using this mode of communication, right, and we want to know for definite, one way or another,
Mhm.
if the higher self or a sub-personality is actually signalling, there is, what I'd like to know is that there is no ambiguity, there's no hesitation, there's no indecision, that the higher self or a sub-personality will be very, very definite and take control of that finger.
Yeah, so higher self is saying to me that if the person's in a relaxed state of mind
Right.
and they're receptive to the, well, it's called the test if you like,
Yeah.
then it's very easy. But it's saying obviously if there's a external control in place, the external control as in another entity,
Right.
will have a level of control over the physicality, which is what happens with negative entities.
Yes.
So they can obviously make people's mouths move and Tourette's and that whole thing, so they do have a level of control over the physical person.
So it's important that any external interfering entities are removed first.
Definitely, yeah. And that would be a sovereignty check, probably.
Okay. Well,
That was quite interesting.
that was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
From
was.
your point of view.
Yeah, I feel my fingers shaking when I was trying to hold it down. So I could hold it down, but there was definitely a level of, there's a lot of will required to stop it actually moving.
Right.
And of course, when we first started, because it was the right forefinger, I'd already, consciously I was expecting that to happen,
Yeah.
which was the shock of seeing the other one popping
So
up on its own.
it was overriding your conscious
Yeah,
awareness.
which I guess, yeah. And then while we're talking, I'm sitting here thinking, why is the one finger? Because it makes me look a little bit silly, that you don't know which finger's which. But then
So-
that was part of the
Part of the experiment.
example, yeah. It was quite interesting actually.
A good experiment. Well, higher self of that person, we thank you. Thanks for the cooperation and your help. And until we meet again, let's say farewell.
Yeah, so that higher self is saying is it's enjoying the experience of teaching you things that you need to know, basically.
Good. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. And let's,
And it's also saying it wasn't your idea, actually. The thought was put into your mind from that person. It's higher
Really?
self.
really? Well, fancy that.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Well, thanks again
Yeah,
for the idea and for the experiment.
yeah, that's good.
Good.